Court Reporter with Stovall and Associates.
We're back with Congressman Horsford. Final segment here. Another thing that you actually are serving as far as a committee is in the Homeland Security Committee and a subcommittee for cybersecurity and infrastructure protection. Recently, the state of Nevada had a big win in getting Switch to come in and build their, whatever you want to call it, hub, their information, yeah, their data warehouse. Is this something, this committee, are you guys falling behind as far as how to properly govern, or I should say protect these industries, being that legislation typically with high-tech types of sectors really haven't caught up to the products that are available today?
Well, actually, what we found so far is 95% of the vulnerability for cyber attacks is in the private sector. There are some industries that are very good, like financial services, because they have to be.
Right.
But there's still areas that they can improve. But major utility companies, water treatment facilities, internet providers, there's still a lot of area that they need to improve in. Our job right now in Congress is to, and we are and have passed legislation in the House that's pending in the Senate to improve the information sharing between those private sector companies and the Department of Homeland Security so that we can go after these groups that are hacking into our systems. Now, some of these groups that are doing this, and this is public information, are state-sponsored groups out of China.
Right.
Some of them are doing it for espionage purposes where they're stealing proprietary information. But some of these groups are doing it to cause military threats against the United States. So this is very serious. We take it very seriously, and we will continue to work to perfect policies and practices that will keep our homeland secure.
Just to expound on that point a little bit, does that mean that your committee is also looking for a way to bridge the R&D, I should say the new security progress, I guess, that you've had through government-funded studies and R&D? Would that be available to the private sector that are open to these cyber attacks?
So yesterday I was meeting with the commander at Nellis Air Force Base, and they have a cyber warfare center there that does this for the military. And yes, there is discussion occurring about how what we've learned in protecting our country from the military threat of cyber, how that can be shared in an appropriate way with the private sector so that they can protect us as well. Why is this important? Because as consumers, all of us get on our computers every day and we're going on links, and people are accessing and have the ability to access our personal data, to hack into our bank accounts, to monitor things that shouldn't be monitored. And we have to make sure that the private sector is doing everything that it can to protect us as consumers, because this goes to our economic, it goes to our personal liberties and protections, and those are all important policies that we're trying to balance through this legislation.
Well, it's a fascinating subject. So just to close the show, again, as you go through the rural counties and you hear the concerns of people that are living in Pahrump and also having to be mindful of 4/5 of your constituency being in Clark County, how can people properly communicate with your office to let them know their concerns when they don't necessarily have access to you as a congressman just because of geographic limitations?
Well, they do have access. We actually I have a designated rural representative who lives in rural Nevada in my district and who has office hours set up throughout our rural communities. So whether it's here in Pahrump, in Tonopah, in Hawthorne, in Yerington, in Ely, on a certain day, with designated hours at a designated location, constituents that live in those rural communities can reach us, talk to us about a concern that they have about Medicare, about Social Security, about their veterans benefits, about any other issue that they might be having, because my job is not to defend federal government or federal programs. It's to defend my constituents who rely on some of these services for their quality of life. So, we can share that information with you as to when those office hours and locations are available. But my job and my priority is to be open and accessible to every constituent in every corner of Congressional District 4. The elections are over. It's time for us to govern, and I'm here to represent everybody.
Well, we appreciate you being on tonight. Thank you so much.
Good to be here.
Good luck. You got a real tough task in front of you. Thank you so much, Congressman. We'll be back next week. Thanks for watching.
Court Reporter with Stovall and Associates.